The past 3 weeks have had plenty of thrills, spills, and no repeat winner. It all comes down to this. The theme of 2022 A Supercar champion Josh Clog's season is overcoming adversity. Despite a crash in Daytona with Brian Sawyer while battling for the lead and contact with his championship rival Josh Mertz in Indianapolis, the Maryland driver comes into tonight with a 4-point lead over the Irishman. Mertz, statistically the best driver in NASA Rallycross, has consistently been there or thereabout near the podium all season, and the 7-time Supercar champion is looking for an 8th overall NASA Rallycross championship and the first since 2018. It's a tall order given the pace of the field, but it results in a winner-take-all scenario between the two, something that Mertz has experience with. If we remember the 2017 C season where he battled his teammate Philip Kraus until the end. What will happen in the desert of Phoenix? We will find out together tonight. The Valley of the Sun is the stage for the evening. NASA Rallycross Lights from Phoenix is next. Our venue for this evening is the virtual Phoenix Raceway. Opened in 1964, North American Simulated Auto Racing started visiting this circuit in 2018B. 0.76 miles in length with 9 corners, 6 of which to the right and 3 to the left. The name of the game here is Respect the Jump. The lap begins with a flat-out turn 1. Brake hard, stay middle of the road, and don't hit the curb in turn number 2. Wind your way through 3 past 4 into the Joker decision, and don't take too much speed over the jump. It won't end well. The final complex of corners flow together very specifically, 1 millimeter off the line, and you will give up a huge amount of lap time. Rip the asphalt on the inside of 7 and 8 to get the maximum amount of speed, and drive off the corner and back to turn 1 here in Phoenix. Our format for NASA Rallycross is as follows. 18 cars will be split into 4 heat races of 6 laps apiece. Joker lap once. The top 2 will transfer to the feature, and the winner gets 3 bonus points. The runner-up gets 2 as well. The rest of our competitors will be funneled into the semifinals of 5 laps apiece. The winners will transfer and receive 1 bonus point. This sets the grid for the 10-lap feature race, where the points are rewarded and trophies are handed out, and unique to NASA Rallycross, 2 jokers are taken during the feature. The first season of NASA Rallycross Lights concludes tonight on the Automotive Sports Network. With Brian Sawyer in the production truck, it's Josh Mertz, as always, up in the commentary box as we welcome you to Avondale, Arizona. We'd like to mention that our cameras for this entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. Coming into this final round in Phoenix, we could go over every single driver in the Drivers' Championship. We're going to be focusing on Josh Clog in the 199, Josh Mertz in the 812, and Bodie Cryer in the 05. Basically, it's Mertz versus Clog for this championship. Unless something goes wrong, then Bodie Cryer can sneak into the picture. Clog with 61, Mertz 57, and Cryer with 55. In the Teams Championship, it's more of a foregone conclusion for the lead. Woven Planet 118, and the Struggle Bus has 103, but they are not here this evening, so Woven Planet pretty much uncontested, as there's going to be a nice battle for third between Sequential Simsport and MRT, but MRT only has Mertz this evening compared to Sequential having all 3 of their cars, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. On track, 6 laps, and it's going to be crucial for Clog to win this heat race to maintain that points lead over the 812. Green flag. Off the line. Grove misses the start, just a pinch. Clog and Wickens side by side down to the first corner. Even. Clog takes the spot. Down to turn number 2. Single file. Late on the brakes is DeFino in the 845. Nearly into Wickens in the 51. Rounding 3, rounding 4. Let's see who will joker. Wickens takes the joker. So does DeFino, so does Sowers. Grove stays out, following Clog in the 199. Tricky joker here in Phoenix. This wall was extended as DeFino actually he does hit the wall there in the 845. This wall was extended all the way past the corner exit. We'll keep an eye all evening long on the Joker exit. At the end of the first lap, Wesley Wickens leads in the 51, followed by Gerald DeFino in the 845, Vincent Sowers, Clog, and Grove. DeFino wide in turn 2, nearly into Sowers in the 365. I think Clog would be well advised to take to the Joker. He does to avoid the traffic. We're going to keep an eye on Clog versus Wickens in the Joker rotation. Wickens has the shorter line, but he's going to be on the dirt, doesn't get the drive off the corner. Clog, a little bit of the asphalt on the driver's left, exiting the corner, takes the lead at the end of the second lap here in heat number 1. Wickens, about a second away from Clogs, comfortably sitting in a transfer spot in the the 51, against the 199, I should say. His last lap was a 38.5, Clog 34.3, so it's about 3 to 4 seconds in the Joker rotation. And this jump, like I mentioned in the opener, very tricky with those tire barriers on driver's right. Turn 6, turn 7, turn 8. Such a linked up complex, like I also mentioned. Asphalt on this right-hand side that these guys can hook, but it's a perfect esport line that you have to maintain in order to be fast. These guys not really worried about being fast, just making sure they transfer as we take cross flags for Clog, 38.4, Wickens, 38.6, Vincent Sowers, 38.9, Defino, 39.6, and a Grove, 39.723 for the Pennsylvania native. And this is what Josh Clog needs, like I mentioned. 4 points up on Mertz in the Drivers' Championship. This will give him 3. Mertz is starting on pole in his heat race. And we'll focus on those two all evening long. Like I mentioned, if something goes wrong, Bodie Cryer just a couple points behind Mertz in the 812. He drives the 05. So Woven Planet 1 and 3 in the Drivers' Championship. We take 2 laps to go here in Phoenix. Running order, calm in the back of the field. As Grove has not jokered yet, so I wonder if he's going to be taking the fight to Defino or Sowers. As remember, they already jokered, so the 472 Grove takes to the Joker. Battle's getting good for the top 2. Wickens looks like he hit the grip through turn 7. Tried to hit it in turn 8, but hit the curb. If we look back in the back of the field, Grove exiting the Joker. He's not going to have the delta over either of them. He comes back out in last again as Clog takes the white flag. Last lap for Wickens, 38.6, 38.8 for Clog. Couple tenths up was Wickens. He's running out of time in the 51, over the jump for the final time in the heat race. And you are hoping to the Rallycross gods that you don't have a terrible jump. Wickens didn't, closed up the gap on corner entry, but again, so hard to get this line right. Clog looks like he got it a little bit better than Wickens, and Clog will win Heat 1, pole position for Phoenix. Wickens will transfer as best of the rest, Sowers against Defino and Grove. Heat number 2, Josh Mertz in the 812, Rakowski, Todd Aitchison,
Good luck.
Matthew Morris, Eric Dubois. So, second in the championship, on pole for this heat race here in Phoenix. Green flag. Off the line, Mertz gets a good jump over Rakowski. Morris and Dubois side by side into the first corner. To the inside goes Aitchison. On Morris, thought better of it. Side by side, him and Dubois. Rakowski behind Mertz, who will joker on the first lap. Here in Phoenix, Mertz does. Rakowski thought better of it, but she's going to miss the corner entirely. Aitchison goes to the joker. Rakowski over the jump. Contact and over is Morris in the 24, and so is Dubois in the 133. At the end of the first lap, Mertz will lead. Aitchison sits in second, and Dubois, the seas parted, and he sits in the third spot. As Rakowski, way offline to take the regular course, thought that's what it looked like, trying to take the joker, and thus, big accident on the first lap, so Mertz enters the regular course for the first time. Aitchison jokers again, so the 151 will be disqualified from this heat race. So it looks like Eric Dubois is sitting in a transfer spot right now, as Rakowski and Morris both have heavy damage. I don't think it'll be picked up on the radio, but Mertz is losing his mind right now, trying to tell race control the 151 should be disqualified. So put the 812 still through to the lead. Rakowski exits the joker. in the 999. Dubois runs it wide on the exit of the corner. Will they come together? They do! Again, over the curve goes Rakowski in the 999 and into the Jersey barrier. Here comes Morris in the 24. He'll pass Rakowski, obviously, and Dubois still sits in the second spot, past the start-finish line. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. This will be the battle for the transfer, as Aitchison, I think, is getting disqualified from race control right now. And Dubois still holds the spot. These two struggling over the jump as Mertz takes cross flags in the 812. Rounding the final couple of corners, Dubois and Morris. Dubois' last lap didn't get registered by the sim because of the track cut, so we'll see what the 133 runs at the end of his third lap. 41.7 to a 41.0 for Morris. For context, Mertz ran a 39.1 in the 812. Kind of an easier heat for the 812 versus the 199, so if everything ends like it is running right now, there will be no fluctuation in the points, as Mertz took 2 laps to go in the MRT Volkswagen. Morris exits the Joker in the 24, and he'll be put ahead of Dubois in the 133. So Morris in the transfer spot there, and Dubois on the outside looking in. Mertz is going to take the white flag in the 812. We haven't missed anything up front as Aitchison finally disqualified from race control. As it was mentioned in the drivers' meeting and before the heat races, in every NASA race, that because of an iRacing format glitch, only 2 jokers in the feature. Aitchison, a new driver, apparently missed that, even though it was announced 4 times, so he will be disqualified for the event. So Morris looks good to get into a transfer spot, as Dubois in the 133 struggling. Final corner for Mertz in the 812. They just took the white flag, and he is completing the white flag. How calm his race has been, yet how chaotic the rest of the cars have had it. Mertz wins Heat 2 in the 812. 3 bonus points for him. Dubois will joker on the 5th lap, as he looks like he's a lap down due to those incidents. And Morris will transfer. Some crazy scoring. Morris transfers. Rakowski in the pit lane. Dubois a lap down. And Aitchison disqualified. Heat 3 getting ready to go. Our grid. Bodie Cryer, Justin Robichaux, Olivier Rateau, and Joseph DeGiacomo. Another championship protagonist in this heat race, and this is going to be an interesting one. Justin Robichaux, we know, is fast. They are teammates at Woven Planet. Cryer jumps the start. Commentators curse already. That's going to give him a 10-second penalty. Green flag. Rateau to the inside in the 63 in turn 1, and the Woven Planet cars come together. Into Joseph DeGiacomo in the 55, and Rateau. What was that on the start? The 55, crab walking. He's going to be out of this race. Cryer's got to slow down. So another heat race. Looks like it was settled before it even started. As poor DeGiacomo still trying to race this car. And his first proper green flag start in NASA ends up wadded up in turn 1. And at the end of the first lap, Olivier Rateau leads. Robichaux passes the 55, who is still on track, and Bodie Cryer in the 05. But he's going to be out of this because of that penalty. So I'm interested to see here if Cryer, if there will be potentially team orders with him and Robichaux, but I honestly don't think there would be, because Robichaux would have to park the car, essentially, and be, I think it's about 10 to 15 seconds behind Cryer in order for Cryer to transfer and get those bonus points. Because like we mentioned in the open, he's 2 points down on Mertz, so he's 6 down on Clog. It's a real long shot with the depth of this field this evening, and I don't know if it'll happen. As we begin we begin the third lap, we'll take cross flags halfway home next time around. And I'm just not sure what race control will do with that start on the 63 of Rateau. Just sent it up the inside as Robichaux jokers in the 93. As he comes off of the joker, getting close to Rateau. But even after spinning himself, I don't think he'll be able to gain it back. We take cross flags. Like we've mentioned before, since we have a little bit of downtime, happy to announce that NASA Rallycross Lights will return for a second season in 2023B. The date and time of which, and the day of the week that we'll race, is unknown at the current moment, but just keep an eye on nasasimracing.com or asntvUSA.com. Both of those links will redirect to the respective discords. Digiacomo still on track in a destroyed 55 car. He puts it in the fence in turn 1. He's trying to get back on track. I have no idea why race control has not told him to get off track yet in the 55, as he has been a hazard since that suspension damage. But we'll just have to wait and see what's going on there. As lap and a half to go for Olivier Rateau. Robichaux holds the transfer, and like we mentioned, spots really won't change as Cryer can close up on his teammate, but with that 10 to 15 second penalty, not really going to benefit much as Olivier Rateau takes the white flag. Through turn 4, through turn 5. Such a tricky sector to get right, like we mentioned earlier on. 6, 7. Don't want to go too far drivers right. You want to stay drivers left and turn in after that second sleeping policeman hit that little bit of asphalt on the right side and then really cut down to hit the asphalt here. But Olivier Rateau off the final corner, a muted heat number 3 after chaos in turn 1. He will win, transferring as Robichaux. Best of the rest, Cryer with Digiacomo. Heat number 4 here in Phoenix. And our grid, Martel, Vimont, Cody Erdman, and Jake Robichaux. As Francois Martel makes his first start in the lights this evening, former supercar champion Erdman on pole, green flag. Martel thought about shooting the middle, thought better of it. Down to turn number 1, side by side Vimont and Erdman. Erdman takes the spot. Martel to the inside of Vimont, down to the second corner. Martel tries to sneak away. He's got it, nearly contact. He does take the spot over Vimont. To the joker goes Martel on the first lap. Following him is Robichaux in the 69 for Slapex Racing. Erdman sits in third, first car of the regular course brigade, so it'll be interesting to see the blend between those two as we exit the joker from Martel to end the first lap here in Phoenix. Robichaux sits in second. Clean first lap compared to the last 2 heat races, I should say. And Martel down on the qualifying order, but we know how fast he is in the supercars. It's going to be ominous with the 12 to see what he can do today. And Jake Robichaux in the 69. Erdman, there. Joker's in the 52. Where will he come out in relation to Martel? Rounding the final corner for Erdman. No contest, it looks like, although Erdman surges mid-joker. You get a piece of asphalt there. Exiting, Martel's going to hold it by a car length. Erdman's got a huge run in the 52. Down to turn number 2. On the outside goes Erdman. Opportunistic move in the 52. As Vimont sits in fourth. I don't believe he has jokered yet in the 14. Over the jump. Erdman into the tires again! And it's not the first time that he's hit those tires in Phoenix. Martel, all 4 onto the asphalt. A little bit too far. Might be a little track limits there. He's trying really hard to find that grip lane as he takes cross flags in car number 12. Erdman will be battling Robichaux as they both jokered. And Vimont has not jokered in the 14 yet. So with Erdman's obliteration of the tires, I expect that Vimont should transfer in this heat race unless something goes crazy. Martel, huge gap up front. Vimont's going to joker. So compared to Erdman, Vimont surges ahead. And even with the slightly longer lap of the outside of the joker, he should be able to hold that spot. As Martel will take 2 laps to go. Joker rotation. Vimont goes to second spot. Erdman and Robichaux sit in third and fourth. Last lap for Martel was a 38.9, 34.7 for Vimont, 39.4 for Erdman, 39.6 for Robichaux. As remember, we still have 2 semifinals left here in Phoenix before the feature to decide this championship in the first season of NASA Rallycross Lights. Bit of a connection issue with Vimont there in the 14. We're going to take the white flag for Francois Martel. And was hearing that Martel got disqualified in qualifying is the reason why he didn't set a lap time. So interesting to see there. He sets a 38.250 compared to Vimont at a 38.846. Erdman a 39.378. And Jake Robichaux a 39.539. Robichaux misses the apex of turn number 2. Erdman clips the curb a little bit too hard in 3 as we just take a look through the field, see how everybody's doing. And into the dirt for the final time. Perfect line for Martel. A little bit overzealous on exit, but it's easy because the asphalt will pull you right in. Martel, that's going to be scary for the feature. He wins heat number 4. In car number 12, 38.250 at the end. Vimont will transfer as best of the rest. Erdman with Robichaux to the semifinal. Semifinal A in Phoenix. And our grid is Sowers, Cryer, DeFino, and DeGiacomo. 4 cars, 5 laps, 1 joker. Hopefully Bodie Cryer doesn't jump the start this time in Phoenix. Green flag. He did not. Off the line. Sowers got a little bit better start in the first phase. Cryer tried to pull him on the outside. Can't get it done. Through turn 1. Cryer will have the outside down to turn number 2. Will he take the fight to the 365? He lets him have it in the 0-5. DeFino and DeGiacomo in the back of the field. Who will joke on the first opportunity? Cryer does. It's a good idea when you're that second car to get that clear track. DeGiacomo will have a better first lap after getting included in that accident on the first lap of his heat race. Sowers leads the regular course brigade of himself and DeFino in the 8:45. At the end of the first lap, Cryer from Texas will lead for Woven Planet Racing, and DeGiacomo sits in second. As remember, just the winner transfers, so we might be talking about best of the rest in this heat race, although, of course, anything can happen in NASA Rallycross. DeGiacomo, bumpy turn 2. Sowers on the outside. He'll take to the joker in the 365, so he'll take the spot. Will he come out battling Cryer is the main question in that Volkswagen. Rounding the corner, Cryer looks like he'll have it in the 0-5. You can go way out wide and try and utilize that asphalt, but you have to be sure there's nobody around you in order to run the road course line. And it's going to be a bit of a ding-dong here for the third spot between DeGiacomo and DeFino, teammates, for 845 Subaru, which is an interesting team name because they're driving Volkswagens, but it's just NASA thing. Sowers into the tires as I just took a look. In the 365. Not going to be harmed position-wise. He still sits in second. DeFino jokers in the 845. Maybe made me a liar, because I didn't realize that the 845 hadn't jokered yet. He exits the joker behind Sowers in the 365 as Cryer takes 2 laps to go. Last lap for Sowers, obviously, with the contact. 41.1. DeFino 36.0. DeGiacomo 40.9. Newcomers to the championship as the 845 Subi cars of DeFino and DeGiacomo just signed up earlier today. Sowers over the jump. DeFino takes the spot, sneaking to the inside of the 365. What a ding-dong for the second spot. And best of the rest, this would be for 11th overall as Cryer takes the white flag. Not a disappointment for any position as NASA Rallycross, regardless if it's for a championship, for 5th, or in these guys' case, 11th spot in the overall classification. DeFino to the inside, thought better of it. Sowers a little bit wide on corner entry to turn 2. DeFino lets him have it. Lets him gather the car back up in the 365. Cryer loves this. He'll transfer unless he spontaneously combusts in the final corner. Will DeFino take the spot on the 365 into the final complex on the outside, over under, trying it. Sowers blocks the line. Cryer wins the semifinal, first semifinal. DeFino the inside on Sowers. Sowers powers out on the outside of the corner to finish 11th overall, 13th overall DeFino, and 15th overall will be De Giacomo in the first semifinal. Semifinal B time here in Phoenix. And our grid, Eric Dubois, Cody Erdman, Jess Rakowski, Jake Robichaux, and Matthew Grove. It's sequential versus Slapex, and only one car will transfer out of this semifinal. Supercar champion Erdman, remember, 2016A, 2017A in this semifinal race. The final semifinal of the light season, getting ready to go. Green flag. Erdman got a great jump off the line compared to everybody else. Dubois doesn't turn, crashes into Rakowski, crashes into Robichaux and Grove. He pins the throttle in the 133. This isn't over for Dubois down to the second corner. Erdman leads into both Slapex cars, and both of them are turned out of the way from Dubois in the 133. And this race might be over already as Erdman takes the spot. Dubois misses the jump and rolls it in the 133. Over the tire barrier. And hopefully we have the scanner off as the Slapex cars will be fuming as Erdman leads at the end of the first lap ahead of Grove. Rakowski, who exits the Joker as she got turned on the start from Dubois. And Jake Robichaux back in the pit lane as well. So this might be another best of the rest race as Erdman, much like Mertz and Charlotte, everybody crashed behind him and he has no clue what has happened as Grove Jokers in the 472. And that's such a tricky start in Phoenix. Everyone has to slowly merge to the left-hand side unless you want everyone to crash like it happened here in Phoenix as it just kind of narrows up for that first corner. Interesting start, I should say, for this track. But it's been one of the longest standing rallycross tracks on the iRacing service. And Erdman, last lap was a 38.6 in the 52. He is not a fan of that jump as we noticed his takeoff and his landing. And it's so easy to get spooked by this track given that middle sector with the walls on both sides, the jump, the tire barriers. It takes so much precision, and it looks like Cody's fighting to try and get those grip strips, so it'll be interesting to see if the 52 will have pace in the feature as we take 2 laps to go. Remember, still technically not over, but he's a straightaway ahead of Matt Grove, who sits best of the rest currently, ahead of Rakowski, Dubois, and Robichaux. And Matt Grove trying to get more seat time in that 472. His first season, I believe, was this season in Supercars. Gained some pace. But unless something goes wrong, like I mentioned, he'll be best of the rest, as we'll take the white flag for Erdman, searching for that grip lane. Just a tire width off of where you'd have to be, or where you'd like to be in order to be fast. Not as far left as you should be. And down to the second corner, about a car width off the apex, is the 52. As we round turn 4, turn 5. The track looks like it wasn't cleaned up from the track crew. So these guys have a little bit more of a grippy track. And that could kind of be the cause of some of these guys' inconsistent runs. Jake Robichaux's back on track just to say that he finished ahead of Dubois. But Cody Erdman does hit that grip lane in the 52 as he takes the checkered flag to seed 10th here in Phoenix. As best of the rest in the semi-final, finishing 12th overall will be Grove, 14th overall will be Rakowski, 16th will be Robichaux, and 18th Eric Dubois. All the preliminary events in Phoenix are completed. We're going to step aside for just a couple moments, but when we come back, the championship decider for NASA Rallycross Lights. Stick around. nearly 3 wide of Matt and Palacio. Front bumper of Betty down to turn 2. Clog takes the lead. Real still hasn't jokered inside. Clog on McKenna. Contact between them. We welcome you back to round 4 of the championship overall and round 4 of the first season of NASA Rallycross Lights here in Phoenix. With Brian Sawyer in the production truck, I am Josh Mertz up in the commentary box on the Automotive Sports Network as we look to close out this season. Just a reminder, our cameras for the entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. Our grid for the season finale looks like this. Josh Clog on pole position in the 199. Josh Mertz in the 812 in second. Olivier Rateau, Francois Martel, Wesley Wickens, Matthew Morris, Robichaux, Vimont, Cryer, and Erdman. We could give you a bunch of title permutations, but it's a winner-take-all scenario, which is the easiest to follow. Thank you for joining us all season as we get ready in Phoenix. Green flag off the line. It looks like Clog, a little bit slower than Mertz on the start for the first phase. Down to turn 1. Mertz will pinch him to the curb. To this turn 2. Clog contact with the 812 down to the first corner. Clog will let him have it. Martel tries to take the spot. Can't make it happen. Wickens in 4th. 5th is Rateau. 6th, Vimont, Robichaux, Erdman, Morris, and Cryer in the back of the field. We can write him out of it. The title protagonists take the Joker on the first lap. Everybody takes the Joker on the first lap, except for the Mika cars, Matthew Morris and Bodie Cryer. Make it a 6-4 split. Exiting the Joker for the first time to end the first lap. Mertz leads by about 3 to 4 car lengths over Clog in the 199. 3rd is Martel. 4th, Wickens. 5th, Robichaux. 6th, Erdman. 7th, Rateau. 8th, Vimont. 9th, Morris. 10th, Cryer. Who will Joker on the second lap of the race? Mertz does. He gets his strategy immediately out of the way in the 812, and he is the only car to front load his Jokers. Vimont will take his first Joker in the 14. This is going to be a fascinating lap time battle that we'll keep an eye on all race long between Mertz and Clog. And Martel's right there if anything goes wrong, and he might be quicker than Clog. Lap time for Mertz, 38.2. That was a Joker. 38.1 for Clog. 38.0 for Martel. Wickens 38.6. Car length between Clog and Martel. Make it maybe 1.5 between those two. In the back of the field, Cryer battling Morris. Mertz on 2 wheels. We took a look up front for just a moment in the 812. Martel will take the Joker in the 12. Rounding the final corner. Where will this put him to complete his strategy? It puts him behind the 812 of Mertz at the end of the 3rd lap. Lap time is beginning to roll in. 38.6 for Mertz, 34.4 for Martel, 38.5 for Clog. Slightly faster was the Maryland driver. Vimont, Wickens, Robichaux, Erdman, Rateau, Morris, Cryer. That running order has not changed. Couple car lengths between Mertz and Martel. As Martel came close to winning the Supercars Championship, had a couple of bad races. We'll have to keep an eye tomorrow and see what happens in Phoenix. But right now, for the lights, he takes the spot on Mertz. He doesn't care about the championship. He cares about the win for himself. Robichaux exits the Joker in the 93 ahead of his teammate, Clog in the 199. 38.0 for Martel, 39.0 for Mertz, a second slower. Might be a little bit too worried for the race lead. Erdman sits in 5th, Vimont in 6th. Let's take a look at Joker rotations as we're going to take cross flags this time around in the feature as Erdman completed his strategy that put him up to the 5th spot. Wickens Joker's in the 51. Where will he come out? Mertz all over the track in the 812 as we took a look at him for a moment. Clog gets by his teammate. That might have been some team orders as Wickens exits the Joker. And now we take cross flags. Half a race left in Phoenix. And Clog has a Joker left. And I think he might be waiting until the last lap but that might not be a good idea in the 199. Last lap for Martel was a 38.1, 38.7 for Mertz, 34.6 for Wickens, 38.0 for Clog, 39.3 for Robichaux in the 93. As this mid-pack battle getting really good with Erdmann, Vimont, Robichaux, and Cryer close behind. Vimont deep on the brakes to the 52, gives him a little nudge. Robichaux, I don't think he'll pressure the 199 too much, but we'll just have to wait and see as we take 4 to go. Martel extending his lead over Mertz in the 8.12. It was a 0.6 of a second gap. Wickens even on pace with the 8.12 that last lap. So was Clog. So 2nd through 4th all running the same lap time, and time is running out. And this is a risky game for Clog to be playing, because it's not like he'll have a lot of time if he jokers on that last lap to get a pass done. They might come together here, but we'll just have to wait and see. Martel's last lap, as we take 3 laps to go in Phoenix, was a 38.3. Mertz crosses the line at a 38.5. Pretty equal on lap time. 38.5 for Wickens, 38.4 for Clog. It's ebbing and flowing between these two championship protagonists. And Cryer, unfortunately, involved in some incidents on the first lap of the race in the back of the field. Mertz trying to mirror Martel to pull him farther away from Clog in the 199. It's calmed down in the mid-pack. As I say that, Cryer and Vimont came together in the 14 and the 05, and Vimont's got some damage on the 14, so we'll take him out of it. 2 laps to go for Martel. His last lap, 37.985. Mertz was a 38.147. Wickens, 38.329. Clog, 38.2. We're going to have 1 lap to settle this championship. We'll keep an eye on Clog. Will he joker now, or is he waiting? He is absolutely waiting until the last lap of the race to see if he can steal this championship away. And that's an incredibly risky game. We've seen this over the last 11 years. Someone joker on the last possible opportunity and it not come to fruition like you would hope. White flag for Martel. He has been out and away since he passed Mertz in the dirt several laps ago. 38.1 to a 38.2, 38.4 for Wickens, and a 38.0 for Clog. 38.6 for Robichaux. He is in the back, or mid-pack of the field, and Erdmann's got some damage in the 52. We're going to focus on Clog in the 199. We'll take a look from high above this Phoenix Raceway. The man from Maryland against the Irishman, both of them NASA champions, and we've got 1 corner left to decide this race. Clog's going to exit the joker. He's slightly ahead. Mertz clips the curb. Martel will win. Contact between the Joshes, and Clog's going to cut the track. That puts Mertz to 2nd, Clog in 3rd, 4th Wickens, 5th will be Robichaux, 6th Erdmann. As we're just waiting to see what will happen with penalty-wise. Erdmann, 6th. Morris, 7th. 8th, Rateau. 9th, Cryer. 10th, Vimont. But as we take a look at timing, I think Mertz is going to be the champion here. As let's take a look at what just transpired in this final corner. As we take a look from high above. Clog exited the joker, and it's the jokering car's responsibility to ensure a clean merge. Mertz running his own corner. Clog pushing hard. Contact between them. And race control confirming that that is a racing incident, but it's pinned on Clog due to the jokering car's responsibility. And because iRacing gave him a slowdown penalty, if there was no penalty, Clog would have won the championship by 1 point, but it puts him to 7th, and that's it. For the first time since 2018, Josh Mertz is a NASA Rallycross champion, his 8th overall, and he wins the first Lights Championship. Wow. Let's take a look at unofficial points. Mertz wins the championship by 4 points over Josh Klog. And what's interesting is Woven Planet 2-3-4 in the Drivers' Championship. Klog, Cryer, Robichaux, Wesley Wickens in P5 despite missing last week in Indianapolis. Brian Sawyer 6th, Rakowski, Palacio, Rateau, and Matt Grove. Despite the unfortunate circumstances of losing the Drivers' Championship, Woven Planet wins the Teams' Championship, 31 points ahead of Sequential Simsport. MRT, only having Mertz for the entire season, hindered them. They finished third, as the Struggle Bus finishes fourth after missing this evening. Mika Esports, Slate Packs, and 845 round out that championship. As you guys thought that was crazy, we're going to be back here tomorrow from Phoenix for the conclusion of the Rallycross Supercars for the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge. And Josh Klog hopefully will have better luck in that series. He has a huge point lead in that championship, so I think if he even makes the feature, he would win that championship. Just a reminder, our cameras for this entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. As the checkered flag falls on the evening, from all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, from Philip Krause and Brian Sawyer, my name is Josh Mertz, as we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of NASA Rallycross Lights from Phoenix. Be sure to join us tomorrow for Supercars here in Phoenix. But until then, so long, everyone.